Most people don't even remember the pack house has a dungeon. I do, though. I have a little room in the back that used to be a solitary confinement cell. I have a cot and an old tattered blanket to keep me warm. I even scored a lamp out of the trash. It still works. So, I have light to do my homework. Oh, yeah, I should introduce myself. My name is Talia, but no one calls me Talia except for teachers on the first day of schooling. I'm more popular as the Wolfless Freak. I'm a werewolf in the Red Moon Pack. Since I'm an orphan, I'm not completely sure how old I am, but pretty sure I'm 16. Also, I'm an Omega, which means I'm a servant. My job is to make the meals for the werewolves who live in the pack house. Between making breakfast and dinner for over 100 wolves, cleaning up after them, and restocking the pantries of the ranked members' apartments on the 3rd and 4th floors, I do normal teenager stuff. Except, I don't have a lot of spare time to do so. Homework is the extent of living my teen life. Right now it's 11:30 in the night. I'm putting the finishing touches on my English essay when I hear the door of the dungeon slam open. Great. Now what did I do? It doesn't take much. Alpha Edward is an alcoholic. It's really difficult for werewolves to get drunk, which means you have to drink heavily to feel the effects. This means he probably had a fight with Luna Layla about his drinking, which means she locked him out of their room, which means he has come down to take out his anger on me. Just an average Tuesday in the pack house. I know the drill. I'm already on my feet waiting for him. Alpha Edward, what can I do for you? I ask with my eyes looking at the floor. I keep my hands clasped in front of me, trying to look as small as possible. Without a word, a whiskey bottle whizzes past my ear and smashes against the wall above my cot. I flinch and can't help but start to tremble and hug myself. Whatever is about to happen is going to be worse than usual. He lunges forward and grabs me by the throat with both hands. I feel tears coming to my eyes as the lack of oxygen turns the edges of my vision dark. I desperately claw at his hands, trying to escape his grip, but it's no use. He picks me up by the neck, so I'm at face level with him. His eyes are pitch, indicating his wolf ruckus is at the surface. His breath stinks because of alcohol. I start gagging and choking from the lack of oxygen. Without warning, he throws me across the room as if I weigh nothing. My back slams against the wall, and I land on my back on the cot. The shards of the broken bottle pierce the skin on my back through my thin t-shirt. The whiskey makes the cuts burn. I try to muffle a scream as the pain sears through me. He comes across the room and picks me up roughly by the hair. I feel the shards of glass cutting deeper as he pulls me up. He throws me to the ground. The glass bits are grinding deeper into my back. I can feel something wet soaking through my shredded shirt. I don't dare move and make him even madder. I feel my ribs snap when his foot makes contact. One of his feet lands on my jaw. I feel a sickening snap, rattle in my brain. The metallic taste instantly fills my mouth. Alpha Edward has been using me as his punching bag for years, but this was way more intense than it has ever been before. In the past couple of years, he started dipping the whip in wolfsbane, which makes me heal slower, so now I have gnarly scars across my back and arms. I manage to eke out. My voice is small and garbled. He abruptly stops and walks out of the room. He comes back a moment later with the whip and starts lashing my back relentlessly. The whip is dripping with wolfsbane. The lashes, combined with the glass shards still in my back, combined with the wolfbane, are too much. My vision turns blurry and I pass out. Numbness surrounds me. Is this what being dead is like? It's peaceful, but a little bit boring. At least I don't have to feed the pack. Oh, dang. I didn't get a chance to turn in that English essay. It was a good one, too. The constant soft beeps are soothing. I don't know how long I've been dead, but I feel like I want to open my eyes, ready to take on the afterlife. After what seems like forever, I'm able to open my eyes and find I'm alone in soft comfort in a brightly lit, clean room. This is the afterlife? Maybe this is some sort of waiting area. But where's the lobby? Is there a receptionist? My mind slowly becomes more clear and I realize I'm not dead. Pain. I start to panic, making the beeps in the room become faster. Oh, I'm hooked up to a bunch of machines. I try to figure out how to unhook them so no one hears the noises. Too late. I hear people in the hallway getting closer. I try to sit up. I need to ignore the pain. I have to escape. I slowly slide off the side of the bed. My legs were wobbly. The tubes and wires sticking out of me prevent me from getting too far. The door opens, and the packed doctor comes in with a nurse. The doctor is an older person.
Talia, you're awake. Let's get you back on the mat, shall we?
The doctor says gently. He and the nurse come to either side of me and reach out to hold my arms. A deep growl escapes my chest. Don't touch me, I snap, shaking them off. My voice is scratchy and raw, and my mouth feels like 1,000 needles are poking into it.
It's all right, Talia. No one is going to hurt you here. We're trying to help you heal. Let's get you back to it, and I'll get you a drink of water.
The doctor raises his hands in surrender. I look at him hesitantly before the nurse hands me a cup of water with a straw. The water feels good on my throat. The doctor sits in the chair beside the bed as the nurse checks my vitals and starts messing with the tubes and wires attached to me.
Talia, you had surgery to remove hundreds of shards of glass from your back. We also had to reset some ribs, your jaw, and you had a lot of wolfsbane in your blood. We gave you a transfusion to clear it from your system so you could heal. You're lucky your wound isn't so serious.
Sure about that last part, doctor? I think to myself.
When the pack realized breakfast had not been prepared, Tony went to get you and then found you on the ground in your room.
He looked at me with sympathy.
Talia, who did this to you? It's a crime. That could be grounds for banishment from the pack.
I can't answer him. I stare at my hands on my lap quietly. How can I tell him Alpha Edward is the one who caused this? There's no way he'd believe me. Even if he did, what are they going to do? Banish the Alpha? Fat chance of that. I decide my best move is to just shake my head no. I don't want to get out of the pack for lying. I have nowhere to go. I would be nothing.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. When do you turn 17?
He looks at the papers inside his folder. I don't know exactly, sir, I say honestly. He looks at me with a furrowed brow. He glances at the nurse and asks her to give us privacy for a few minutes. Am I in trouble? I just woke up. I don't know what I could have done.
You don't know your birthday, Talia?
My father brought me here when I was a baby. He was a bad guy. Alpha Edward, well, I feel my face burning with embarrassment. My hands tremble and tears threaten to escape my eyes. I didn't think I would have to tell the story to the doctor. I thought everyone already knew. My father was a bad guy. Alpha Edward ended his life for coming into pack territory without permission. They didn't realize he was carrying a baby until they unzipped his jacket and saw I was tucked inside. It was a miracle I survived. Since I was just a baby, they couldn't just get rid of me, but they didn't know anything about me. I was wrapped in a blanket that had the name Talia embroidered on it. So that is what they called me. My father could have been a kidnapper for all I know. The only reason they gave me the last name Jackman is because after they took down my father, they looked through his wallet to identify him. The only form of ID he had was a library card that said Brian Jackman on it. I've tried an internet search for his name on the computer in the school library before. Nothing comes up in the search.
You don't need to finish. I know what happened to your father.
Well, after that happened, Luna Layla took me in until I was old enough to start school. Then she moved me into the dungeon. I've kind of been on my own since then. I never found out when my actual birthday was. And to be honest, you're the first person who has ever asked. I mean, I guess I'm 16. My wolf hasn't woken up yet. The doctor nods, looking at me with pity, almost like he cares. He asks me a few more questions about my medical history. There's nothing to speak of. I don't remember ever being treated by a doctor before. He closes the folder and tucks his pen into his shirt pocket.
Well, I know you haven't had a chance to look in the mirror yet, but when you do, you may find you look a little different. Don't be alarmed. I've done as many tests as I could think of, and it is not medically related.
Yes, sir? I assume he means I'm healing faster, but why did he need me to look in the mirror? Why not just tell me? I look at the nurse who is staring at me. When she realizes I caught her, her eyes dart away. What's that about? Okay, lady. Rude?
I'll leave you now.
You can go in the bathroom and wash up. Just take that bowl with the IV solution with you. There are lounge shorts and fresh underwear in the bag. You need to leave the hospital gown on until your back heals. All right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Diane. She nods and leaves the room. It's the first time in my life people have been kind to me. I mean, I think it's part of their job, but still. All I have known so far were insults, physical misery, and hard work. Never any kindness. Never any. I feel like I can trust the doctor, but I'm still wary of Nurse Diane. The way she stared at me just now makes me uncomfortable. I pick up the duffel bag and go to the bathroom. I avoid looking in the mirror. Everything in the bathroom is fresh. There's a shower, but I'm worried the pressure of the water will hurt my back. I decided to fill the tub halfway and get in. The water is warm and soothing. There's a washcloth and a fresh bar of soap. I clean myself until the water is gross. I drain the tub, wipe out the ring of dirt around the edge, and fill it again. The water is not nearly as dirty as this time when I finish washing. I find it hard to raise my hands, but I don't want to call the nurse to help me. I gently wash my hair, dry off, and wrap the soft towel around my head. There's a toothbrush and a small tube of paste on the shelf by the sink. I'm living in the lap of luxury in the Pack Hospital. I pick them up and start brushing my teeth. I can't avoid it anymore. I need to look in the mirror. I finally worked up the courage to take a peek. What I see makes me drop the toothbrush. My face is still covered in bruises, but that's not what made me drop the toothbrush. The iris of my left eye is violet, not like a shade of blue that could be a little purple in the right light. No, my right pupil is still the drab gray I'm used to, but my left pupil looks crazy. I blink my eyes hard a few times. Still the same. I tried rubbing my eye, but it doesn't make a difference. There's no mistaking it. My eye is bright, practically glowing. Violet. The 2 days seem to last forever. I'm not complaining, though. I've never gotten so much in my life, and as a bonus, I get 3 meals a day. 3. I keep looking in the mirror. I can't get over how weird my purple eye looks. I wake up on the second day and go to the bathroom to freshen up. I stare at myself in the mirror for the millionth time. My left eye is still violet. Now my right eye seems like it's starting to turn violet as well. Mousy brown. It is silvery gray. Okay, seriously now, what is going on? What is happening to me? Is this a trick? Is there bleach in the shampoo or something? If it is a trick, it isn't funny. I pick up the bottle and smell it. It smells like strawberries, not bleach. Weird. I have never heard of a wolf's eye or hair color changing when they are coming of age, but that's what the doctor thinks is happening. Diane comes in just after lunch with paperwork and pamphlets for me. She hands me another little bag.
Just a little something to help you stay incognito until you are finished healing.
Thank you for everything. There's a round hat in the bag. How do I look? I ask as I model them for her. She giggles at my poses.
You're a star, darling.
Maybe she isn't so bad after all. She gives me a gentle hug and sends me on my way. I have another 2 hours before I need to start prepping dinner. I decided to take my new clothes to my room and clean up the mess down there before this. Something smells different as I walk down the hallway of the dungeon. Like a cleaning solution. I turn on my lamp to find the room has been transformed. My lamp is not sitting on an old stack of milk crates. It is on a nightstand. There's a new bed, too. My old cot is gone. I have a proper mattress, complete with new sheets and blankets. There is also a small desk and chair with all my school books arranged in a basket next to it. I must be dreaming. That, or I walked into someone else's room by accident. Except no one else lives down here. You can barely tell it was an old dungeon cell. It looks like what I imagine a dorm room would look like. I peek out of the doorway to make sure I am in the right place. I seem to be. I walk over and sit carefully on the bed, as though it will disappear if I move too fast. It is like a cloud. The gray and turquoise linens are fresh and new. There are even 2 pillows. I never had a proper pillow before, let alone 2. As far as I know, Diane is the only one who came down here while I was in the hospital. Could she have had all this done? Surely she will get in trouble when Alpha Edward finds out. Then I remember she doesn't know how much the Alpha hates me. I don't know how I'm going to explain it when he finds out. But I won't tattle on anyone for trying to help me either. I put my new clothes away in the drawers of the nightstand. I stash the duffel bag under the mattress. Once I am 17, I will figure out a way to get out of this place. Find a new pack that will accept a violet-eyed weakling of a wolf. I sit at the desk and write a thank you letter to the doctor and Nurse Diane. I turn in the chair to look around my new room. I am in awe that someone would do this for me. I must have been daydreaming, because I didn't hear the door at the top of the stairs. Instantly, I freeze. I hear 2 sets of footsteps coming down the hall. I can smell Alpha Edward's scent getting closer. I don't know who the other scent belongs to. Instinctively, I scramble and stand in the middle of the room just as they get to the doorway. He leans against the frame and crosses his arms. I can feel my whole body tremble as he stares. My eyes are glued to the ground. I do not want him to see my new eye color shining through. Can I help you, Alpha Edward?
That little stunt you pulled cost me a lot of money. And when you cost me money, you cost my whole family money.
I'm sorry, sir. I apologize. Although I have no idea what stunt he is talking about. I look up just enough to see Marcy, the Alpha's daughter, is also standing in the doorway. Marcy takes a step closer, and I can feel tears starting to sting the corners of my eyes as my arms shake uncontrollably. How am I going to face her at school? I haven't had a conversation with her since her mom made me live in the dungeon anyway. But as far as I know, she had no idea I live down here now. She is going to tell everyone for sure.
And do you know how disgusting the food has been for the past 2.5 days?
I just nod, still looking at the ground. I'm not trying to argue with a lunatic. It isn't my fault I had to have surgery. He's the one who broke a bottle and threw me into the broken pieces. If he hadn't, I would have been just fine. I would have been able to bounce back the next day and make breakfast like I was supposed to, even if I was banged up. There is a pause and he finally growls,
Where did all this furniture come from? Did you steal it?
No, sir. It was here when I got back from the hospital wing. I don't know who brought it.
You owe me, Talia. You also owe whoever turned your room into this comfortable space. You will work in the pack house until you pay back every cent for the rest of your life if necessary. No more school. You don't need education to cook and clean.
He uses his alpha tone. I cannot disobey. With those words, the small flame of hope in my heart extinguishes. I don't get paid, so I don't know how I could ever pay back any debt. Luna Layla told me years ago that the room in the dungeon was payment enough for my services. I am less than an Omega now. I am a slave.
Marcy, teach her a lesson for wasting our money.
Yes, Alpha.
Tears stream down my face as the reality of my fate sets in. Alpha Edward is passing the torch of his cruelty down to his daughter, but I know better than that. He will never stop. Marcy reaches forward and claps the back of my neck. She forces me down into a bowing position and growls deeply.
You should be grateful my father doesn't banish you. If you were a rogue, I would make sure you never made it to the border of the territory.
A squeak escapes my throat. I am so scared I feel like I'm going to pass out. Marcy turns to her father.
Don't worry, Alpha. I've got the situation covered.
I hear Alpha Edward's footsteps walk back down the hallway as he leaves the dungeon. Marcy tightens her grip on my neck, extending her wolf claws, making me yelp. As soon as the door slams, Marcy releases my neck and kneels in front of me. Her face is contorted with anger. She grabs my shoulders, shaking me roughly.
What did you do to make him so mad?
Why isn't she doing anything to me like she told Alpha Edward she would? I stiffened my whole body, avoiding eye contact with her. I'm shaking. I can't even speak now. The thought of two people doing something bad to me regularly for the rest of my life, it just can't be real. Can it? How can the moon goddess allow this to happen? I want to leave the world. That's not an exaggeration. That's not me being dramatic. Please, moon goddess, don't let this happen. Just let me go. I shake so badly that I fall to my knees. I start to sob hysterically and my brain shuts down from being able to think rationally. Marcy grabs my chin and forces me to look at her in her cold gray eyes. She looks at me in horror for a moment.
What happened to your eyes?
She moves her hands up from my chin to just below my eyes. It feels like her hands are trembling against my face.
Are you a mixed blood or something?
All I can manage is to shake my head no between sobs. As I shake my head, I feel her starting to press her thumbs against my lower eyelids, obstructing my vision. Oh no, she's going to poke my eyes out. She saw the violet color. She was going to blind me. I place my hands on top of her, trying to push her away. I hear myself screaming, "No, stop! Don't take my eyes out, please!" For just a moment, time freezes. I don't mean like it feels like time is standing still because I'm in the middle of a traumatic situation. No, time is frozen. Well, frozen for everything except for me, I should say. I can feel it in the air. It only lasts for a moment. I pulled Marcy's hands away from my face easily. The look of anger combined with confusion is stuck on her face. Next to her, a fly is suspended in midair. The second hand on the clock has stopped on the wall behind her. Drips of water aren't finished falling, leaving umbrella-shaped splashes in the puddles on the floor. What? Did the moon goddess hear me? Did she have mercy on me? Did she let my dream come true? I look back at Marcy with wide eyes. My hands are glowing purple. As quickly as it stopped, time started again. Marcy starts screaming and pushes herself away from me. The tops of her hands where my hands were touching her were burnt. I look down at my hands. They are normal again, not glowing purple. Seriously, though, what happened? I shut my eyes tight, waiting for Marcy to retaliate.
If you tell anyone, I will kill you,
she says in my ear. Then she punches me in the stomach, knocking the air out of my lungs. I hear her footsteps running down the hall, then out the door. I don't know how long I sit like this, but when I finally open my eyes, I breathe a sigh of relief. I lean against my body for a while longer, sobbing, shaking, and trying to catch my breath. She didn't harm me. Surely she was coming back. I sniff the air, but her scent is gone. I listened carefully, but there were no sounds in other parts of the dungeon. I'm alone. Moon Goddess, thank you for saving me. Thank you. I say out loud, just in case the miracle I just experienced was because of her. I feel exhausted, but starting to feel calmer. Okay, Talia, focus. I need to make dinner for the pack or Alpha Edward will find me and kill me. I don't think it's an exaggeration either. Even if I try to run away, either he or Marcy would find me before I could get off the territory. I take a few deep breaths and make myself go down the hall to wash up at the sink. I splash cold water on my face and look in the grungy mirror. Both of my eyes are pure violet now. The silver streaks are starting to take over my hair now. It isn't like an old person's hair. It is silvery that almost shimmers, even in the low light of the dungeon. So weird. There's no way I'm going to be able to get used to this new look. I go back to my room and get dressed in the loose cotton gown and round hat that Diane gave me, pulling the brim low to hide my eyes. Throughout dinner, I received murderous glares from Alpha Edward. I make sure to keep my eyes to the floor so Alpha Edward would avoid seeing the color. Marcy glares at me every chance she gets. After dinner, it takes longer than usual to stock the pantries because whoever did it while I was in the hospital had no idea what they were doing. It is well after midnight when I flop down on my bed and close my eyes. June 20th, I think to myself. It's the last day of school. Well, for other people anyway, not me. You don't need the education to cook and stock pantries. Alpha Edward's words ring in my ears. Just another day for me, I suppose. I wallow in self-pity for a bit before I roll over and try to fall asleep. I'm almost asleep when I hear a woman's voice.
Hello?
I quickly scramble to my feet, looking everywhere for who it could be. I'm the only one in the room. I peek into the hallway and look around, but no one is there either. Hello? I whisper loudly down the hallway.
Ugh, Talia. This is no way for a warrior to behave. Get yourself together.
The voice chides. I realize the voice is coming from inside my head. Who are you? I ask hesitantly, worried that I've gone insane.
I am the messenger of the moon goddess, the whisperer to the moon. But I like you, so I'll let you call me Sylvie.
Whisperer of the moon. Are you my angel, Sylvie?
Maybe. Who knows?
You came a day too late. Our Alpha just turned me into a slave less than 12 hours ago. We have no way to escape now. I feel tears welling up. I explain everything to her, what the Alpha did, how the Luna made me live in the dungeon, all of it. I sob through the whole thing.
I'm here now, Talia. Don't worry. You are a child of the moon goddess. You are a warrior, which means that you are strong. You will get through this.
Sylvie, earlier, when my hands turned purple and burned Marcy, was that you?
Sort of. That was you, but I helped a little to activate your power. I can explain more later.
The next month and a half are the worst of my life. Thank Goddess for Sylvie. She keeps me going. Any motivation I ever had is gone now. Instead of just breakfast and dinner, now I make lunch too, and I'm still on pantry duty. Every moment of my day is filled with work. From the time I wake up, Sylvie convinces me to enjoy the time that she and I get to spend together, which is when I'm cooking meals. I find I do enjoy cooking while Sylvie is with me. No one comes to bother me. So we get to have great conversations without interruptions. In the end, I've created something people will enjoy. I even found a couple of recipe books in the back of one of the kitchen cupboards and taught myself some new techniques and dishes to make. Everything else in my life is complete hell. Alpha Edward allows pack members to bully me and verbally mock me, and they take full advantage at every opportunity. He comes to my room multiple times a week to harm me and berate me for imaginary offenses I haven't committed. Sometimes Marcy comes and watches. A couple of times she even gets the whip for her father, but she never actually does anything bad to me. I swear I see her smiling while she watches. Sylvie tries to convince me to fight back, but that would be a death sentence. If I fight back, or even worse, if I shift, I'm certain I'd be dead. Sylvie keeps telling me everything will change when I shift. She keeps saying, "You are a daughter of the moon goddess, and you are her warrior." She is frustrated that I submit instead of fighting back. She is angry at me for keeping her a secret. She says doing so is making her weaker. Okay, Sylvie, a couple of problems with all of this. I try to tell her for the millionth time after we plop in. First, I have no idea when I'm going to be able to let you help me to shift. I'm up and working every day from 5 a.m. until after midnight. Secondly, if the Alpha finds out I'm talking to someone in my head, he might think I've gone nuts and he will banish me. Or maybe just skip banishing me and straight out kill me. Lastly, I'm a slave, not a warrior. I am not even an Omega.
Talia, you are not just a warrior. You are a child, the moon goddess. She is your mother.
Okay, I don't know when I can let you help, but at the first opportunity I will take it, Sylvie. I promise. This seems to satisfy her. We keep having the same argument about werewolves all being children of Moon Goddess versus being an actual child of the Moon Goddess. She doesn't understand the difference. I think she believes the Moon Goddess is my mom, like in the literal sense of the word mother. Every day I'm completely exhausted by the time I get back to my room. It's an even longer day if I'm visited by Alpha Edward. Sylvie has been the best friend I could ask for, even if she is frustrated and getting weak. She is always supporting me and pushing me to not give up. I feel guilty that I can't support her in return. One day, Alpha Edward's personal Omega comes running up to me while I'm making lunch and tells me the Alpha wants to see me in his office right away. I drop what I'm doing and hurry to his office. I knock on the door quietly in case he's busy.
Come in.
He calls from inside. I pull open the door and peek inside. You called for me, Alpha? I asked as quietly as possible. The easiest way to get away from him is to use as few words and ask as few questions as possible.
Don't just stand there, come in.
He snarls. I rush inside and close the door behind me. I stay as close to the door as possible in case I need to make a run for it.
Talia, we have a delegation coming from the Dark Howlers pack next week. 20 wolves in total. All of their ranked members, their mates, the heads of their security and guards, and security detail for all of them. If all goes well, we'll be forming a pact with them. They must be treated with the utmost respect and courtesy. Bring lunches to the conference room every day and make a formal dinner every day next week. Keep their pantry stocked and stay out of the way. Got it?
I look up from under my hat, still keeping my face low enough that he can't see my eyes. Yes, even after almost 2 months, he still hasn't noticed that I have purple eyes. Or if he has, he hasn't pointed it out. He also hasn't said anything about my silver hair, which is just fine with me. Yes, sir.
Everyone will be here on Monday, except for the Alpha, who's coming Tuesday. We'll be having a party after dinner to welcome him. Make sure there is enough food for the party. Give George the information for the additional food you need to make. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. We need to keep the Alpha happy. If not, I won't hesitate to let him harm you. Do you understand?
He stands up with his hands on the desk, looking very intimidating. Yes, sir.
Now get out of my sight.
He points to the door behind me. I scramble out of the room as fast as possible to find George. George is in charge of ordering supplies for the pack house. He should be in his office right now. My mind is already churning through the special foods to make, and the groceries I need for them. I also need extra supplies for the guest suite pantries. I wonder what kind of foods the Dark Howlers pack likes. Dark Howlers is the largest pack in the northern region, with my pack, Red Moon, being the second largest. Alpha Edward says Dark Howlers is vicious and strict. Most of their pack has served in the military at one point or another. They employ dark magicians and witches to help them keep power over neighboring packs. I wonder if they're going to bring any dark witches here. I hope not. I also hear their alpha expels pack members who fail training tests because he doesn't want weak wolves in his pack, a guy I don't want to cross paths with. I get to George's office and knock on the door. I can hear noises coming from inside, but he doesn't answer. I knock a little louder. What the hell? He has to know I'm here. He knows my scent. Just tell me to come in already.
I don't like this guy, Talia. He's creepy. He stares at you.
Well, we don't have a choice but to work with him, Sylvie. He's the money.
Oh, fine, but let's make it quick.
I knock again, more impatiently this time.
What is it?
He finally growls from inside. I open the door to find there's a female wolf sitting on his desk. She hides her face in his chest. I can't see who she was, but there is no denying whose scent it is. George is not wearing any pants and he is sweating.
Get the hell out, Talia. I'm busy here.
I stand there wide-eyed, jaw slack for a moment. I can't be seeing this. George is having a fun time in his office with Luna Layla.
Get out, Talia.
He yells louder. I come to my senses and slam the door closed. I run back to the kitchen as fast as I can. I can feel the drip of sweat down my face. If anyone finds out what I just saw, I am finished. Sylvie thinks it's hilarious. She laughs in my head throughout lunch preparation. I'm just trying to erase the scene from my mind. I'm about to take the platters out to the dining room when George comes charging into the kitchen. He makes a beeline for me and grabs me by the throat, pinning me against the wall. He hauls back his fist and punches me square in the face. The back of my head slams against the wall so hard I see stars. I can feel my nose snap as I slide down the wall with a groan.
You didn't see anything.
I can feel his claws extending into my neck, drawing blood.
You understand, you little monster?
I'm paralyzed with fear. I can't answer. I can't even nod. Suddenly, I feel like I'm falling backwards in my mind. I blink quickly a few times. It feels like I'm looking out of someone else's eyes.
Let her go.
The voice comes from me, but it isn't my voice. It's Sylvie. Her voice booms and sounds almost ethereal. The dishes on the counter shake as she growls deeply at George. I watch helplessly as my hands glow violet and grab George's wrists. As I grab him, his eyes widen in fear, and he starts howling in pain. A sizzling sound comes from where my hands connect with his skin. He quickly releases my neck, and we both fall to the ground.
How are you doing this? What are you, Talia?
I stand up, feeling much taller than my 5-foot-tall frame. Sylvie's voice booms from me.
I am a warrior child of the moon goddess. And if you tell anyone what has happened here today, I will make you suffer.
George scoots back on his backside away from me, wide-eyed, then clambers up and runs away as fast as he can. Suddenly, I come back into my normal state of mind, and I fall back to the ground, exhausted. My hands are no longer glowing, but they feel like they are on and full of static electricity. Sylvie, what was that?
I couldn't help it. He was threatening you.
Okay, but what was with the glowy purple burnt hands thing? That's not normal.
Talia, we've been through this. You are a child of the moon goddess. You are special. There is more too. You will see after we shift for the first time. Until then, I'm not strong enough to show you. Besides, it isn't like I hurt him badly. His wolf will heal him before he is back in his office.
I do. Wait, you mean the moon goddess is my actual mom? Like she gave birth to me specifically? Not just like mother of all werewolves because she created us a gazillion years ago?
That's what I've been saying since I came. It's not my fault. You didn't believe me.
I picked up a towel to wipe the stain from my nose. Sylvie is already healing me from the break, but my face is going to be bruised for a couple of days. I pull my hat down low so no one can see the bruises, then pick up the first 2 platters and rush out to the dining room. Okay. Well, if you're able to do that to George, how come you can't do it to Alpha, Edward, or Marcy?
Well, I think it happened one time before, but I wasn't fully in control then. I can't do it now because he's your alpha. I can't go against what he says. I can't attack your alpha or his daughter.
I concede. I don't want to argue with her. I'm just trying to figure out the rules. I'm in uncharted territory here. I mean, it's cool territory, but I don't know what our limits are. Once all the platters are out, I make a list of all the extra supplies I need and put it in the box hanging outside George's office. That way, I don't have to face him again. I clean up the dining room after lunch and still have about 45 minutes until I have to start dinner. I decide to go to the stock room and put supplies on the pantry cart for later. As I work, I hear someone clear their throat behind me. I look up to find Marcy standing uncomfortably close to me. Can I help you with something, Marcy? I try to swallow the panic that instantly builds in my throat.
Talia, I just wanted to say, when I'm in control of the pack, you won't be treated the way you are now.
Marcy, please stop. I put my hands up and push lightly against her to get her to move, but she's stronger than me and doesn't budge. I look up at her to see an evil grin distorting her face.
I see the way my dad treats you, Talia. You never complain. You just take it.
She moves closer, breathing deeply until she's fully pressing herself against me.
I bet you like it when he does it, don't you?
What? There is no way I heard her right, did I? Marcy, I do not enjoy what your father does to me, and you're no better standing there watching him, instead of stopping him. I can feel tears stinging the corners of my eyes as she slips an arm around my waist. I cannot believe this is happening right now.
Don't lie to me, Talia. I do like men, but I can't deny your scent is something to me no man ever can. The way you beg before my father turns me on, it makes me crazy to think about what I'll do to you if I find you alone. I can't wait to get my hands on you. I want to hear you moan with pleasure when I'm with you. I want you on your knees so I can whip you instead of him. I want you to be my toy, Talia, not his. We'll turn the dungeon into a playroom just for us, instead of just your bedroom.
She's nuzzling against my neck right below my ear, making me cringe, but I don't have anywhere to be able to move to get away from her. I can feel her fingers pressing against me, trying to make their way between my legs. Are you insane? I push hard against her, but she's too strong. She doesn't budge. Get off of me, you sicko. This whole time she's been turned on by watching her dad torture me. What is wrong with this family? The look on her face contorts, from happy evil to disgusted. Without warning, she takes a step back. She elbows me in the back, dropping me onto the table. Then she bends over behind me and whispers in my ears,
I know you want me, Talia. Don't worry, you'll be mine as soon as I convince my father to let me have you. I want to make him proud when I make you squeal in pain, but I don't think I can wait.
Her voice is rough and ragged with excitement, and her hands are all over me and groping me. All I can do is sob. I'm afraid to fight back or to even say anything. Sylvie can't help me because she's the Alpha's daughter. Moon Goddess, if you're my mother, please help me, please. Save me from this. I cry in my mind as Marcy bites my ears, gropes me, and her hand runs all over me under my clothes. She pulls my leggings and underwear down, tearing them both in half with her wolf claws extended. I feel her pressing her fingers against my entrance. I know what was about to happen, and I can't take it anymore. I turn my mind off, just like her father beat me within an inch of my life. My mind cannot be present for what is happening to me. She finally gets off me and I fall to the floor. She tears the back of my shirt open and strikes with her claws on my back as if to mark me as her property. I lay on the floor of the supply room crying.
Get up, Talia. I said get up. You're better than this. You will survive this.
I want to leave this world, Sylvie. I can't do this anymore. I can't.
You can, and you will. You will find your mate soon enough, and things will change, I promise.
How can you be so sure?
Glowy, burning hands are not your only gift.
I go back to my room to find new clothes before making dinner. The next 4 days go without incident, unless you consider the fact that I have visited the roof several times recently, contemplating my existence. Each time I stand with my toes at the edge and stare down from the 4-story building. I can't bring myself to do anything except cry and go back to my room. I can't do it to Sylvie. I can't take her life because I want to take mine. Sunday after dinner service, I see Luna Layla in the hallway while I'm refilling pantries. She quickly approaches me and grabs me by the arm. She extends her claws into my bicep, drawing blood.
Talia, if you tell anyone, and I mean anyone, what you saw in George's office, I will make you suffer,
she says in a low, threatening tone. You too, lady. I'm fed up. Does she want to bully me? Okay, fine. I lift my hat and let my violet eyes look directly at her. She gasps at the unusual sight. Luna, it would be a relief, and I would welcome it. You don't know or care how I'm treated by this pack, including by your husband, your daughter, and your lover. Tears choke up my throat. I cannot take any more punishment from anyone else. I'm at my wit's end. If she takes my life right here in this hallway, it would be a relief. I'm sorry, Sylvie. I just can't do it anymore. I say to my angel as I stare down Luna Layla. She doesn't respond. She shuts her mind blink and crawls into the corner of my mind. Luna Layla pushes me away.
Insolent child. You should be grateful for your life. The Alpha will hear about this.
I'm not grateful for this life, Luna. And if you think I should be, you are part of the problem. If you want to tell the Alpha about this incident, I'm more than happy to tell him what instigated it. She stares at me with pure anger and hatred before walking away, without a word. I guess fate has other plans for me. I stand in the hall for a few minutes to see if she is coming back, but she doesn't. I'm certain she is going to sabotage me. Maybe she's going to smother me in my sleep or just stab me straight in the back. Either way, I was serious when I told her I welcome her. I finished pantry duty, making sure everything is set in the guest rooms. I had George order bouquets for each of the suites as an extra touch. In the guest Alpha's suite, I also added a bottle of champagne. If this is the last thing I ever get to do, I want it to be something that makes someone else happy. It is almost 1:30 in the morning before I plop into my bed, totally exhausted. It has been a day. If Luna Layla has anything to say about it, it will probably be my last. Sylvie is exhausted too. She stopped sulking long enough to tell me she needs me to shift. But I can't. I have no time or energy. I keep promising her I will, but I feel like I've broken that promise. I float off to the sounds of her whimpering in my head while I cry into my pillow. To my surprise, my alarm wakes me in the morning. Sylvie makes me promise to hang on for one more day. We go through the motions of the life I hate. While I'm getting ready, I look in the mirror to find my hair is completely silvery now. I tuck it into a bun to try to avoid people noticing it. The delegation from Dark Howlers arrives in the early afternoon. They are all tall and intimidating, with tattoos and big muscles. Some of them have visible scars on their arms and faces. They wear matching business attire or security uniforms. Luna Layla directs them to the sitting room while I quietly bring in pitchers of water and iced tea for them to drink. I was doing my best, trying not to be noticed, and one of the women calls me out.
You there, Omega.
She says abruptly. I look around and realize she is speaking to me.
For everyone.
Maya, of course, right away.
Luna Layla says quickly and nods her head to me. I rush to the cellar and pull out 2 cases of napkins and glasses. I prep the drink service cart and head back to the sitting room. I open 3 bottles, leaving the rest for them to do as they wish, and then I back out of the room so I can start preparing dinner. The rest of the day goes without a hitch. The guests seem pleased with dinner. In the evening, I go to each guest suite to make sure everyone is happy with their accommodations. A couple of people ask for more bags of chips or soda, but on the whole, everyone seems satisfied. The last door is the Beta's room. Maya opens the door, looking much more relaxed than earlier. She has a large tattoo of a rose and dagger on her forearm. Her dark hair is still pulled back, but she isn't wearing makeup. I can see now. She looks only a few years older than me. I can hear her mate inside talking on the phone.
Thanks for checking on us. Everything is wonderful. The flowers are a beautiful touch. You have good taste.
She smiles at me. I bow to her slightly, then turn to leave.
Wait, what's under your hat?
I stop in my tracks and turn around. I'm sorry, ma'am. I ask. I feel the blood drain from my face.
Your hat. Why is it so low? What are you trying to hide? Come closer.
I come closer and slowly take off my hat, keeping my eyes to the ground. My silver hair cascades down my back. It is embarrassingly greasy and visibly dirty. I feel myself blush.
Oh, I see. Now, don't be disrespectful. Always look me in the eye when I speak to you.
I look up at her. The light from her room shines right into my eyes. She looks at me blankly for a moment, trying to process what she's seeing.
What are you? A hybrid?
No, ma'am. The pack doctor did tests, but he doesn't know why it happened. He thinks it must be a transformation related to my wolf getting ready to wake up. I mean, it's not a lie. It's just not the whole truth, right? How am I supposed to tell a stranger that my wolf says that I'm the moon goddess's actual daughter, and that is why I have silver hair and violet eyes? She grabs my chin and pulls my face closer to hers, inspecting closely.
And does the pack doctor know that someone has broken your nose recently? You still have bruises.
I'm not going to elaborate or implicate anyone in this conversation with someone I do not know.
Who's at the door, Maya?
Just the Omega assigned to us, Keaton? What's your name again?
It's Talia, ma'am. I'm not an Omega, though. I'm just a servant.
Her name is Talia. She picked out my beautiful flowers.
She's still talking to her mate, but she hasn't taken her eyes off me, as if she's trying to size me up for some reason. Her brow furrows slightly as she stares. She's making me self-conscious.
That's nice. Ask her if I can get bubbly water in the refrigerator.
No problem, ma'am. She and I share a smile at bubbly water. I will bring it shortly and leave it at the door.
Thank you. Oh, and Talia, if those bruises aren't healed by tomorrow morning, find some powder. Alpha Damon does not tolerate seeing injuries like that.
Yep, yes, ma'am. I run to the stockroom, get 4 bottles of San Pellegrino and put them in front of the door, then run away as fast as I can. 1 million questions run through my head. Would their Alpha be angry for being weaker than other wolves, even if I was not part of his pack? Was she going to tell Alpha Edward about my unusual features? Was she going to call him out for letting someone break my nose? I mean, lady, if you think that is bad, I got some news you're not going to like, and then I'm dead meat by your Alpha, for sure. Alpha Edward comes down later and whips me for not having all the items our guests wanted. By morning, Sylvie has still not been able to fully heal me. I'm in so much pain. Everything is a struggle. Cooking, carrying breakfast trays, leaning over to clean tables. Every move causes scabs to open and bleed, making the back of my shirt damp with blood. Maya makes eye contact with me a couple of times. She can tell something was wrong, but doesn't say anything. For some reason she can't explain, Sylvie is bouncing around in my head all morning.
The beta is so nice. I can't wait to meet the Alpha and Luna.
Sylvie, come on. We're not going to get to meet the Alpha and Luna. We're going to melt into the wallpaper and pretend we don't exist.
I want to meet them.
Okay, well, I hate to disappoint you, but you're going to be disappointed. Layla comes in while I'm prepping lunch to let me know that Alpha has arrived, and I need to make lunch for him as well. There is no Luna. He doesn't have a mate, and according to Layla, he's handsome. Not that it matters to me, because I'm going to be wallpaper. I don't want him to notice me at all. I take the trays to the conference room. Alpha Damon is not there, but there is a spot at the table where he is supposed to sit. I leave his meal at the empty seat. Everyone from the Dark Howlers pack politely thanks me as I lay out plates in front of them. Their manners betray their intimidating features. No one from the Red Moon pack says a word to me as I serve them. I collect the trays and walk out quietly. Layla lets me know she will clean the plates so I can focus on dinner and food for the party. I go to the kitchen, but need a minute to collect myself before I get started on dinner. I go out the back door and stand on the stoop. In the distance, I don't recognize him. It must be the Alpha from Dark Howlers. He is too far away for me to see his actual features, though. All I can see is a tall figure with dark hair and a suit. It smells like... I swear, it smells like coffee or dark chocolate. This guy was a mocha drinker. I laughed to myself at the thought of the big, bad Alpha of Dark Howlers sipping on a mochaccino. I make a 4-course meal of Caesar salad, bacon-wrapped shrimp appetizers, beef Wellington with braised Brussels sprouts for the main dish, and a key lime pie for dessert. I also make bruschetta, tomato fritters, mini calzones, assorted veggie trays with dip, and chocolate truffles to serve for the party. I finished the desserts and veggie trays between breakfast and lunch, so there was less for me to worry about now. I realized Sylvie's advice of finding happiness in cooking has helped me enjoy making this dinner. Maybe because I'm serving people other than my pack, or maybe it's because I'm making special food, not just the regular stuff I make for the pack. Either way, I don't mind my work today. I felt a sense of pride in it. There are servers for dinner service since it's a formal event. I stay in the kitchen and make sure everything is plated and going out the door in perfect condition. I'm in the zone. I peek out from the kitchen after each course is served. People seem to enjoy the food, which is a relief. I notice Alpha Edward is getting pretty drunk. Luna Layla keeps taking his glass away from him, but he keeps ordering the Omegas to give him more. The dining room is extra crowded, so I don't get a better look at Alpha Damon. Maya sees me peeking out from the kitchen and gives me a wink and thumbs up. I smile and give a little wave before pulling my head back. I help the servers take the party food to the tables at the edges of the ballroom. I also make sure the bars in the corners are fully stocked. The DJ is finishing setting up, and colorful lights are sliding across the floor. Party balloons and streamers are hanging all over the place. The first few guests are starting to wander in, which is my cue to duck out the back door. Luckily, the dinner servers will clean up the dinner service tonight, which gives me extra time to restock pantries. I head upstairs to the stockroom and load the cart up. I'm humming to myself as I go from room to room. I feel an odd sense of calm as I go.
You're in a good mood.
I guess. I'm not sure why, though. My back and feet still hurt.
Well, I'm happy that you're happy for once. This version of you is pretty cool.
Thanks, Sylvie. You're not half bad yourself. I finished stocking the ranked pack members' rooms on the 4th and 3rd floors. Then I head to the 2nd floor where the guest suites are. The cleaning staff has cleaned everything. I just need to restock the toiletries, pantry items, and refrigerators. I make quick work of the rooms. I remember to stock the Beta's room with more bottles of San Pellegrino, refresh the flowers, and leave a little tent card with a handwritten smiley face on the kitchenette counter. It's almost midnight now. Everyone is still in the ballroom partying. I close the door to the Beta's suite and move to the Alpha's suite door. It's the last room left for the night. I know he's at the party too, but I knock first, just in case. I lean my ear against the door. I don't hear a reply. I slip the key card in the slot and open the door, but the moment I looked inside, my heart stopped, and I froze. Standing there was the most handsome werewolf I've ever seen in my life. Easily 6 foot, 6 inches tall. Looked to be about 250 pounds of solid muscle with the broadest shoulders, but he wasn't alone. An icy blonde stood in front of him with her hands undoing his belt. The smell of coffee and dark chocolate filled the air, and my mind went hazy as I froze, seeing 2 piercing blue eyes staring back at me. "Stop," he shouted. "Is this it? Is this the day I die?" I wondered. I was only doing my job, but that did not change the fact that I had witnessed something that should not have been seen.
In the guest bedroom, Damon pushed Marcy away from him. She fell unceremoniously on her butt. "Who is that girl?" Damon hurried to button up his pants. Marcy looked confused. "What girl?" "The one with towels. She left towels in the bathroom and left." Damon roared and jabbed his hand into his hair in frustration. "Damn it!" Marcy stared at Damon and blinked rapidly, trying to understand what happened. Less than a minute ago, Marcy went down on him, and she did wonderfully. But then Damon inhaled the most seductive, sweet, citrusy scent that reminded him of delicate freesia flowers, and his body lurched in response. "Mate!" Damon's wolf said. "What?" Damon asked himself in disbelief while staring at Marcy. If Marcy were his mate, why did his wolf remain silent during lunch? And why did her scent change? Marcy didn't smell like freesia. Her scent resembled coconut, and traces of it lingered everywhere. But this new scent felt gentle and seductive. His wolf growled, "Not her! The bathroom!" Damon whipped his head in that direction, just in time to see Talia disappear behind the door with a handful of towels. He watched Talia as she sneaked out of the room, observing her small frame in oversized clothes and her coppery-colored hair that reached just below her shoulders. She remained totally unaware that Damon watched her. "Stop her!" Damon's wolf demanded. "She's the one for us! If you let her go, you will regret it!" "Stop!" Damon shouted. But Talia vanished, and the door closed. He couldn't get up and go after her because Marcy was still pleasuring him. And if he made sudden movements, she might bite him. The girl disappeared, and what Marcy did didn't feel good anymore, especially not while his wolf growled at Marcy while urging Damon to go after Talia. Back to the present, Marcy's eyes widened when she understood what Damon said. "There was a girl in here?" Damon nodded. "Who is in charge of towels?" He didn't know anything about the sneaky girl, and he disliked that his wolf told him Talia was his mate. But he felt an urge to understand the aching need to get close to the girl with the coppery-colored hair. For that, he needed to find her. Marcy shrugged. "I don't know who handles towels. One of the Omegas." "Find out!" Damon squeezed through his teeth. Marcy lowered her head in submission, nodding. "Yes, Alpha Damon, I will find out and let you know." Marcy responded robotically and left the room with urgency. Now outside the reach of Damon's wrath, Marcy had space to think. She hated that he used his alpha tone on her, but more pressing, someone saw her pleasuring Damon. Yes, he was her future husband, but she definitely needed to do damage control and send a warning to all Omegas on how they should behave. Marcy snorted. No wonder her father looked down on Omegas. They seemed useless. She glanced left and right and spotted a group of Omegas lingering at the end of the hallway. "You! I have some questions." Meanwhile, Damon paced through his room, and discomfort in his lower abdominal area got his attention. He remembered that Marcy had taken him in, and just when it got good, it stopped, leaving him halfway, with Marcy's coconutty scent lingering on him. He didn't think much about Marcy's scent before, but now he found it repulsive. Did the towel girl cause this? Her sweet citrusy scent felt addictive, and he craved more. How could a girl smell so good? Damon saw many wolves lose themselves once they found their mates. It happened with Caden the moment he met Maya. Caden always acted carefree, with an edge and eagerness for adventure and to experience new things. But once Maya entered the picture, Caden's whole world shifted, and she became the center of his everything. Damon and Caden grew up together, and they shared many hardships. Damon knew Caden would never betray him, but he felt confident that if Caden ever needed to pick between his loyalty to Damon and infatuation with Maya, Damon would be left hanging. Would Damon allow his world to change because of one girl? That wouldn't happen. No way. He would fight this off. Damon decided to shower. Just the thought of Marcy touching him made him feel dirty, and he needed to wash it off. As warm water caressed his body, images of the coppery-colored hair flashed in front of his eyes, and he remembered the sweet citrusy scent of freesia, and he became aroused again. Shit, Damon exclaimed and turned off the hot water. Damon changed into fresh clothes and headed out of the room when someone knocked on the door. Damon opened the door to find Nora. Alpha Damon, Alpha Edward, and Beta Raymond returned, and Alpha Edward is waiting in the study. He said that you could join him any time if that works for you. I'm here to show you the way. Damon frowned. Yes, Alpha Edward, Marcy. That's why he came here. I'm ready now. Please, lead the way. Nora smiled and gestured to her left. When her father said he would inform Alpha Damon that Alpha Edward waited for him, Nora offered to deliver the message instead of her father. Nora hoped that Damon would say he would see Alpha Edward later, and then she would offer to wait in his room, and then... the possibilities. In the study, Marcy's father greeted Damon. Alpha Damon, I hope your trip went well and that so far things are in order. I apologize for not welcoming you personally when you arrived, but I had urgent matters to take care of. I'm sure you understand. Of course, Damon responded with a straight face. Yes, he understood that this showed how Alpha Edward disrespected him. Scouts found something suspicious? There should have been a report and someone issuing orders. The Alpha himself didn't need to investigate. It seemed like a lame excuse for Alpha Edward to avoid welcoming Alpha Damon personally. Damon knew very well what Alpha Edward thought of him. How was your trip? Damon felt no mood for exchanging meaningless pleasantries. Trip went fine. Your wife showed us to our rooms and lunch satisfied us. Your daughter expressed interest in us getting to know each other better, but I wanted to talk to you first. Talk to me? About what? About what you want. Damon went right to the point. Alpha Edward chuckled awkwardly. I want my daughter to have a good husband and to receive proper care. You are available and fulfill all the criteria. At the same time, Marcy is a beautiful young lady who has all the skills to be a remarkable Luna. Did you expect something else? Damon narrowed his eyes. When you put it that way, it sounds like you are not getting anything out of it. What would I be getting? Once you and Marcy marry, she will live with you. I only hope that you will let her visit us occasionally. Of course, I would love to visit as well, but I stay busy with managing my pack and training James, and I don't have much free time, so maybe I will visit you when James takes over. I can spend some time with my grandkids. Damon clenched his teeth in irritation. How could this old fart say he felt too busy to visit, yet he requested that Damon stay with him for a few days? Shameless. Damon stood up from the chair and stuffed his hands in his jeans pockets. Alpha Edward, we will leave tomorrow this time. Until then, think about all the conditions you want to attach with me being close to Marcy. I want to know all parts of the deal before I agree to anything, and I am not a man who changes the conditions on the fly. If you try to reach for anything that's mine, there will be consequences. Alpha Edward's lips twitched. Are you threatening me? No, I am giving you a heads up. How do I find her? Damon asked his wolf as soon as he stepped out of Alpha Edward's study. Follow your nose. Damon tried sniffing around. He went to the main floor, second floor, and nothing. He wondered if the girl even existed or if he imagined her. As an alpha, Damon's senses surpassed those of a regular werewolf, yet he couldn't pick up her scent. This confused him. Without any clues, he decided to wait for Marcy, who said she would investigate which Omega handled the towel duty. Damon plopped on the bed and took this opportunity to rethink the situation. His wolf told him the girl was his mate, but she escaped. Shouldn't mates feel attracted to each other? Stupid, Damon's wolf growled. What did you think she should do when you had Miss Barbie between your legs? Did you expect her to jump into your arms happily? Damn it, I forgot about it. He really did. The moment his eyes landed on Talia, Marcy became unimportant. What if she hates me? Do I want her to like me? Damon mused. What do you mean? His wolf responded with obvious disapproval. I know you don't like women latching onto you, but this one differs. How different? For starters, she's not latching onto you. The moon goddess paired you up with her for a reason. Don't do anything stupid until you find out what that reason is. You can't deny yourself this. Damon was quiet. So far, he saw every woman as a nuisance. Not because he thought he would fall for a woman, but because they seemed needy, whiny, and they easily assumed they were the boss of everything. And this was his mate. If he stayed close to her, he would fall for her, completely. She would manipulate him, and he would happily do cartwheels every time she felt like watching a circus. Wasn't that dangerous? Damon decided to leave these thoughts for later, or maybe forever. The best thing to do was focus. He came here for a reason. Once he completed his task, he would leave and forget he ever saw that copper-colored hair and those big doe eyes. To keep himself busy, Damon grabbed his laptop and started working. As a busy alpha, something always required his attention. Later that afternoon, Marcy came to Damon's room again. He worked and acknowledged her presence with only a quick glance. Marcy understood that whatever he did seemed important, and she didn't want to interrupt. Marcy sat on the sofa chair opposite Damon and observed him in silence. This gave her ample time to take in his features, and the more she looked at him, the more attracted she felt. Damon looked very handsome, and his stern expression while focusing on work left her breathless. She literally felt the power radiating from him, and she excited herself with the thought that she would be his Luna. Marcy would be able to walk with her head held high, and no one would dare to look down on her, because her possessive alpha would grind them into a meat paste. Marcy found her favorite pastime, staring at Damon. She could do that all day and not get bored. Occasionally, George's image would show up at the back of her mind, but Marcy suppressed it quickly. She was the princess. How could an Omega compare to an Alpha? Marcy wondered why Damon didn't ask about the girl who interrupted them earlier that day. She would tell him that she found out it was a lowly girl who hid in the attic and no one liked her. Omegas told Marcy that Talia acted sneaky and skimmed at work, and Marcy went to deal with her only to find that the door of the attic was locked. Marcy used her sweet voice, and after a short persuasion, Talia opened the door, and then Marcy showed Talia her place. Marcy felt confident that Damon would approve how she dealt with the scrawny girl who intruded on their time, but he didn't ask about it, so Marcy assumed that Damon already looked at her as his Luna, someone who would deal with issues within the pack and not disturb him. She liked that. The light knocks on the door sounded louder than normal in the otherwise silent room. Alpha Damon, dinner will be served in 10 minutes, a female voice came from outside. Marcy stood up and opened the door. Thank you for letting us know, Marcy said to the flustered Omega. Tell Mother that we will be there on time. The Omega nodded fervently, like a chicken pecking rice, and left with hurried steps. Damon smirked when he noticed Marcy's prideful posture. By answering the door, Marcy sent a message that she was in his room, and she spoke for both of them like they were a couple. This confirmed his suspicion that Marcy was not a simple girl. Caden, Damon called his beta through their mind link. We need to wrap this up quickly. We are leaving tomorrow morning. I thought, tomorrow morning, Damon interrupted Caden. Damon confirmed that both Alpha Edward and Marcy schemed something, and he didn't want to stay longer than necessary. If all went according to plan, by tomorrow morning he would tarnish Marcy's reputation and find out more about Alpha Edward's plans. After that, they would leave. The additional complication was the copper-haired girl. Her existence made Damon restless. That girl was an unexpected variable, and for the first time in a long time, Damon felt unsure how to deal with the situation. Dinner resembled lunch, with the addition of Alpha Edward, his son James, and Beta Raymond joining them. The sitting arrangement differed, with Alpha Edward at the head of the table, Damon on his right, and Marcy sitting next to Damon. "What happened?" Maya asked Damon through their mind link. "Why do you think that something happened?" Damon responded with the question. "Because Marcy is talking to you and you are not acknowledging her presence," Maya responded. Damon realized she was right. Marcy talked about something, yet he spaced out. He wasn't even sure what he ate. Damon forced himself to focus. It wasn't like him to be absent-minded. "What did you find on Marcy?" Damon asked both Maya and Caden. Caden responded, "Nothing we could use. She came back a few days ago from Europe, and since then she's been the perfect daughter of an alpha." Damon frowned. "What does that mean?"
"Marcy obeys her parents and does what she's supposed to do. She's not even bullying the servants," Maya said. "Alpha's daughters are usually haughty, but maybe life with humans changed Marcy's personality and she's kind."
Damon glanced at Marcy and smiled while talking to Maya and Caden. "Keep digging. Contact our people in Europe and see what they can find out. Marcy is a white lotus, and I don't believe that she has any skeletons in her closet." "Aye, aye, boss," Caden responded jokingly. When he saw Damon frowning at him, Caden cleared his throat and said seriously, "I'm on it. Don't worry. Our people are already working on it, from the moment Elder Parker sent his first request. I will tell them to prepare reports, and by morning we will know exactly what this miss was doing in Europe in the last 10 years. Their plan was to find dirt on Marcy and discredit her as Damon's Luna. In this way, they would slap Alpha Edward and Elder Parker as well. This strategy yielded the best results so far. Sure, Damon could just reject Marcy and skip these silly games, but that would label him as a rebel. And other than, "because I felt like it," he wouldn't have any other explanation for his outrageous behavior, while Alpha Edward could accuse him of being unreasonable and bullying Marcy. Alpha Damon was a powerful alpha, and the members of his pack respected him. But many lurked in the shadows and waited for Damon to cross the line, to make a mistake, to provoke someone he shouldn't. And Damon knew this. Normally, Damon would feel more enthusiastic about this play. After all, Marcy was a fine-looking she-wolf, and pretending for a day or two to indulge Alpha Edward would pay off several folds once Damon bared his teeth. But today, Damon felt restless, and he couldn't wait to get out of the situation where he didn't have full control. After dinner, they all moved to the living room where servants served desserts and drinks. Caden and Maya had a mission, and after one drink, they went to take a stroll in the garden before heading to bed. Before calling it a night, Caden and Maya planned to roam through the pack house of the Red Moon Pack, looking for an opportunity to eavesdrop on some conversations from the Omegas, or maybe even join in and ask questions. Damon's wolf fidgeted, craving to inhale the sweet, citrusy scent of freesia and locate its source, despite Damon telling him it wouldn't happen. After an unknown measure of time, Damon stood up abruptly. "I will retire for the night." Everyone looked at Damon with obvious confusion on their faces, but Damon pretended not to notice. He turned to Alpha Edward. "I hope that after breakfast we can continue our discussion from this afternoon." Without waiting for Alpha Edward to respond, Damon went to his room. He opened the window of his room and took a deep breath. "Damn it, what's wrong with me?" "You know what's wrong, and you know how to fix it," his wolf responded. "Why are you resisting? This is a fight you can't win." Damon rubbed his face forcibly. He knew that his wolf told him to find Talia, a.k.a. the girl with the coppery-colored hair. But Damon had no intention of succumbing to this temptation. Damon was a stubborn guy who needed to be in control. He always hated when someone tried to manipulate him. And this time, his own nature made him feel and do strange things. He would not give in. "May I come in?" Damon swiftly turned toward the door to see Marcy peeking in. He wondered if she even knocked, but even if she did, he probably wouldn't have noticed. He never felt this distracted. What if that was an enemy? Damon would be a sitting duck. That copper-haired girl already caused him to be weak, and he didn't even acknowledge their mate bond. For Damon, this only proved that the girl was dangerous, and he should stay away from her. No matter how tedious it felt to fight against his urges, it seemed better than being dead. "Why are you here?" Damon's sour mood showed. Marcy took his question as an okay to enter. She closed the door behind her and walked toward Damon, stopping when she was one step away from him. "You look tense," Marcy said while reluctantly putting her palms on Damon's firm chest. "I can help you relax." Damon's lips lifted into a half smirk. "And how would you do that?" Marcy licked her lips while remembering the velvety texture of him in her mouth. She wanted to caress him with her tongue. "I know that nothing is confirmed, but technically we are engaged." Damon observed her fingers as they moved slightly. She felt him out over the thin fabric of his shirt. He noticed the big ring on her right middle finger, an oval-shaped ruby with small diamonds surrounding it. One more luxurious accessory that matched the style of the Redmayne family. Damon looked at her almond-shaped blue eyes, straight nose, and full lips, and he confirmed that she objectively appeared attractive. "Don't do anything you will regret later," his wolf growled. "Stay out of this," Damon spat back. His wolf snorted. "You will regret this." And then he retracted to the back of Damon's mind. Damon felt his wolf's anger and dejection, but he decided to ignore it. Unaware of the conversation Damon had with his wolf, Marcy inched closer to Damon, and she smiled seductively. "I can..." Before Marcy could finish her sentence, Damon's hand landed on the back of her head, and he pulled her closer for a kiss. His tongue plundered her mouth mercilessly. No one ever kissed her like that. Even with the kiss, Damon exerted his dominance, letting her know what it meant to face an alpha and making her heady in the process. She had no idea at what point they reached the bed. They sank in the mattress with Damon on top, and Marcy gasped for air for a brief moment before Damon sealed her lips again with his. His touch lacked gentleness or care. Damon vented his frustration as he searched for a way to release the tension that suffocated him, and the scent of Marcy's arousal hit him hard. Marcy's mind spun in a tizzy. She felt his hand work up her thigh with urgency, all the way to her hip, where he found the edge of her panties, and she jolted when he ripped them in one swift move. Damon's hand moved toward the cradle of her thighs, and she moaned into his mouth. Marcy snapped from her stupor and grabbed his hand. She found nothing wrong with touching and petting, but she felt that Damon would not stop at that. "Not before..." Damon growled in frustration when he realized that Marcy changed her mind. "What happened with, 'we are technically engaged'? Are you saving yourself for marriage?" Marcy felt flustered, and it took her a few long seconds to collect herself and respond. "Not necessarily marriage, but I at least need to know that we are going in that direction. We can do other stuff." Damon shook his head in disapproval. He pushed himself off the bed and ran his hand through his hair. Marcy pissed him off. She came on to him, and then she stopped him, and now she listed conditions? Who did she think she was? What kind of game did she play? "Get out." Marcy didn't get it. She clarified things she willingly would do, and he told her to get out? "What?" "I said, get out." Marcy looked at Damon's eyes, which stirred with violence, and she swallowed hard. Other than feeling scared shitless by Damon's overwhelming alpha's command, she felt convinced that Damon would kill her if she didn't obey right that instant. Marcy scrambled off the bed and dashed out. Damon returned to the window and leaned over the windowsill. He looked at the crescent moon and exhaled in frustration. "Is this what you planned for me?" Damon asked under his breath, even though he knew that the moon goddess would not respond. She never responded. They said that the moon goddess had a plan for everyone, that everything had a purpose, but Damon doubted it. What purpose did his parents' unexpected deaths serve? What purpose did his best efforts for the Dark Howlers pack serve, only to be labeled as cruel? What purpose did being the alpha of the largest pack serve, when so many others wanted to manipulate him? What purpose did his power serve if he had to play by the rules others set? And finally, what purpose did finding his mate serve? Damon didn't want any of it. If he had one wish, he would want to become a nobody, invisible, someone who could move without being noticed or coveted. He would live a modest life and do whatever he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it. And this, no matter how Damon looked at this, it seemed that the moon goddess set on torturing him. Damon often wished to escape from everything, but those were only fleeting thoughts he knew would never come true. The responsibility for the Dark Howlers pack ingrained itself into Damon, and he would never be able to leave. Tens of thousands of people looked up to him, their alpha. They relied on him to keep them safe and lead them to a better future, and that's what Damon swore to do. Hey, can we talk? Damon spoke to his wolf, only to meet silence in response. Damon felt that his wolf sulked in disapproval of what just happened. Well, nothing happened. But if Marcy didn't stop him, it would have happened. Damon threw his arms in the air angrily. Fine. Stay quiet. Damon stared at the moon in silence for an unknown measure of time when a knock on the door got his attention. Did Marcy come to pick up what's left of her panties, or did she change her mind? No one else would come at this hour. Caden and Maya used their mind link to communicate, like always, so others wouldn't overhear them. Damon went to open the door, and to his surprise, Nora's smiling face greeted him. She took a deep breath of masculine scent, and her arousal swelled. She knew he could smell her, and she didn't feel bashful about what she wanted.
Good evening, Alpha Damon. I noticed a light in your room, and since you left early wishing to rest, I wondered if you had trouble sleeping and if I could help you somehow.
Even without the scent of her arousal, Nora's sultry look told Damon what was on her mind. But he still asked, "How can you help me, Miss Nora?" Nora smiled when Damon stepped into the room, silently giving her permission to enter. She closed the door behind her before answering.
I can make you calming tea, sing you a song, give you a massage, or offer myself. Not necessarily in that order.
Damon nodded in approval. He liked when women were direct. No games. What makes you think that your friend Marcy didn't help me relax already? Damon asked with a smirk, his eyes darting to the side. Nora followed his gaze, and her eyes widened. He saw torn panties on the floor. After a moment of surprise, Nora returned to her smiling demeanor.
It doesn't matter what Marcy did. You are still awake, and I am willing. The only question is, are you going to accept my offer?
Won't your friend Marcy be upset to know what you are offering?
Nora cocked an eyebrow. I won't tell if you don't.
Damon's eyes flashed in agreement. Undress.
With haste, Nora removed her skirt and blazer. She fumbled with the buckles of her bra because her fingers shook with excitement. Internally, Nora screamed with excitement. She couldn't believe this was happening. Just yesterday, she still thought about how Alpha Damon would come, and how it would be good if she could take a photo or two. But it seemed she would get much more than just a photo. Nora wondered if she should undress him as well. Domineering guys like Damon usually loved when a woman served them. She planned to remove his pants and pleasure him. Then they would take it from there. Instead, Damon took charge. By the end of it, Nora was satisfied and started to make her exit while Damon left to take a shower. Nora sat on the bed, satisfied. She knew this was just a hookup, and that was all Damon could offer. But this was what she wanted too. Nora would love to brag about this to everyone,
She knew Alpha Damon would never make her his Luna, but having him inside her was still a big feat. However, if Alpha Edward or Luna Layla found out about this, she would be in big trouble, so she needed to keep it to herself. Nora didn't care much about Marcy. How Nora saw it, Marcy was playing hard to get in the stupid role of an ice queen. And even if Alpha Damon shagged Marcy earlier that morning, it was obvious he wasn't satisfied, which is why he gave Nora this wild ride. Nora wondered if Damon enjoyed it as well. Well, he came, so it was good. A brilliant idea popped into Nora's mind. Maybe when Marcy married Damon, Nora could move to the Dark Howlers pack as well, using the excuse of giving Marcy company as her best friend. Nora smiled at the possibilities. If Marcy didn't satisfy him tonight, there would be more chances for Nora to serve Alpha Damon. Guys like him always had women on the side. Marcy wasn't Damon's maid, so their bond wouldn't be foolproof, even after they marked each other. If Alpha Damon wanted Nora's company, Marcy would need to accept it. Nora giggled while making her way out of Damon's room. Damon got out of the shower, pleased to confirm that Nora had left. He liked when they didn't linger. He sat on the edge of the bed and rubbed his forehead forcibly. "I told you, but you don't listen," his wolf said. "Why do you always need to learn the hard way?" "Shut up," Damon spat back. Banging a woman should help him relax, but now he felt tenser. He felt pissed and aroused after fondling with Marcy, and there was nothing wrong with Nora. But only after he imagined that the hair he held was copper-colored did he find his release. After it was done, he saw that the hair in his hand was brown, and he felt dirty. No amount of scrubbing under the shower helped him feel better. "You can't wash a guilty conscience," his wolf said. "Guilty conscience? It's not like I cheated," Damon shouted mentally. "I don't even know her name or if she is real. I'm a free man. Why would I feel guilt for touching a woman who came on to me willingly when I needed a release? Keep saying that if it will make you feel better." Damon wasn't willing to acknowledge that his wolf was right. For the first time in his life, Damon felt bad about betting a woman. Well, maybe not bad, but not good either. It was like eating tofu. He got what he wanted, but his stomach was still empty, and there was no satisfaction that a meal should provide. "How long will this last?" Damon asked dejectedly. There must be some expiration date on whatever craziness he was going through, and after that, he could return to normal. "It will last until you accept the reality." Damon felt frustrated. Was his wolf telling him that sex wouldn't feel good anymore? Or to accept the copper-haired girl as his mate? Or maybe those two were the same? What reality? Why are you playing stupid? You know I can feel everything you do. The bond is proof that the pleasure of flesh is not enough. To experience more, you need our mate. His wolf snorted. "There is no point in talking to you. Do whatever you want, but if you go against the order and mess up, don't ask for my help." Damon shoved a hand in his hair irritably. His wolf always told him to follow his instincts. That's what werewolves do, and it helped him in many tricky situations. But this wasn't facing rogues or dealing with scheming enemies. This was an unknown, scrawny girl with copper-colored hair that made him feel all kinds of uncertainties he didn't want to acknowledge. The clock struck 2 in the morning, and Damon couldn't sleep. His room faced the garden with the forest in the distance. He decided to go for a run to clear his mind. Ideally, Damon would have shifted into his wolf form. Feeling the soil and grass under his paws as the wind ran through his fur always felt good. However, he stood in the territory of the Red Moon Pack, and if anyone saw his wolf, they would perceive it as a challenge, a threat. He came here to uncover Alpha Edward's plots, not to start a war. Damon descended the stairs and reached the main floor. He turned toward the door that led to the garden when the sweet citrusy scent of freesia caught his attention. Without thinking, Damon's legs moved, and he found himself in an unfamiliar part of the pack house. The kitchen, The main light remained off, but he saw the surroundings among heavy shadows because the fridge stood open. There, he spotted a small figure sticking out of the refrigerator. Damon stalked toward her, stopping only half a step behind her. He took a deep breath, and her sweet scent made him dizzy, urging him to get closer and maybe lick or bite her. He wondered if her taste would prove as addictive as well. Damon cleared his throat. She jumped in fright. Ah! Talia stifled a cry as her head bumped into the shelf of the refrigerator. She turned swiftly toward the source of the noise, and her eyes widened in horror when they met Damon's. She recognized him, the important guest, the same one whose private time with Marcy she interrupted. Talia cursed her luck. After Marcy visited her in the attic, Talia didn't dare move until all the sounds in the pack house died down. She thought she should just stay there until Marcy and others forgot about her, but hunger drove her to search for something cold to relieve her pain. If Talia knew she would bump into him, she would have stayed upstairs hungry and endured the pain. It wouldn't be the first time, the only difference being that previous injuries came from other Omegas, while this time they came from Princess Marcy. Before this afternoon, Talia thought Marcy was a kind person, but she proved otherwise. Between Marcy and Anna, Talia preferred Anna, who didn't pretend to be nice only to bully Talia when she least expected it. At least she knew to be wary of Anna, while Marcy smiled and said sweet words only to get close. Talia looked at Damon fearfully. Would he punish her also? Why did he narrow his eyes at her? She felt the urgency to leave. Talia didn't know that Damon squinted in an effort to identify her features clearly. The light shone behind her, and heavy shadows veiled her face. "I'm sorry," Talia said in a shaky voice and lowered her head before stepping to the side, trying to find her exit. Damon extended his arm, blocking her path. "What are you sorry for?" Her avoidance irked him. Every girl would do community service for some one-on-one time with Damon, yet this girl wanted to flee. Talia bit her lower lip. How could she answer his question? She reminded herself not to mention what she saw that afternoon in the guest bedroom. With any luck, he wouldn't know it was her. "I'm sorry for getting in your way. If you excuse me." "Wait!" Damon stopped her from leaving. "Weren't you looking for something in the fridge?" A side of Talia's face caught the light. Damon frowned. He touched her chin, and delightful sparks prickled his fingers and spread up his arm, confirming what his wolf said. Mate. He never felt anything like it. Damon sensed his wolf wagging its tail in delight, and he would have enjoyed the sensation if not for Talia's ragged appearance. Damon nudged Talia to lift her head so that he could see her face against the light the open refrigerator provided. Talia's beautiful doe-like eyes blinked at him, but Damon's daze lasted only for a moment before his sight moved over her injuries. Her upper lip looked busted. She had a bruise under her left eye, and even her right cheek bore dark purple marks. "What happened to your face?" Talia's breath hitched. I fell." Damon didn't buy it. He saw the consequences of many falls, and this looked nothing like it. "That must be some nasty fall." He took another look at her and noticed bruises on her neck that resembled finger marks. Did someone choke her? Rage rippled through Damon. The thought that someone hurt Talia infuriated him beyond belief. His urge to protect her, to see her smiling and happy, clashed with the reality before him. "Who did this?" Damon said through clenched teeth angrily. Talia's whole body shook in fear. There seemed no way she would say anything. It would only bring more trouble. How could she say it happened to be Princess Marcy? Didn't the scary Alpha and Marcy seem on good terms? If she spoke up, at best, he wouldn't believe her, and at worst, she might get another beating. He already looked angry, and she didn't want to be in the vicinity when he blew up. "No one, please, can I leave?" Damon released Talia's chin and held her shoulder. Even through the coarse fabric of her sweatshirt, Damon felt faint prickles on his palm that made him crave more. Mate! Damon focused on inspecting her face, especially the purple mark on her right cheek. It appeared oval, with small dots around it, and somehow reminded Damon of the ring he saw earlier that evening. A ring on Marcy's hand. "Stop scaring the girl!" His wolf spoke in his head. Damon looked at Talia and pressed his lips into a line when he saw the horror in her eyes. Damon's attention moved to her shoulder under his palm, and he realized how small and fragile she seemed. He guessed that if he exerted a bit of pressure, he could probably crush her. Reluctantly, Damon released her shoulder, trying not to make any sudden movements to avoid scaring her more. "I will not hurt you." He spoke as calmly as he could, but her unchanged expression told him she didn't believe him. Why would she believe him? So far, people either ignored her or bullied her, and those people lived in this pack. Why would a stranger treat her better? And the stranger in front of her looked intimidating. She probably suffered abuse, his wolf told him. Damon closed his eyes in an attempt to contain another rush of rage that swelled inside of him. Abuse. Someone abused his mate. Damon took a deep breath. The sweet, citrusy scent of freesia made him lightheaded, like a drug that helped him relax. It felt addictive. He greedily inhaled again and again. It took him a few breaths to detect that the scent grew fainter. Damon opened his eyes and realized he stood alone in the kitchen. She left, and he didn't notice. Did she even exist, or did he imagine her? "Imagine my foot," his wolf grumbled. "Use that nose of yours and track her down." Damon snapped to his senses and followed his nose outside, toward the garden.